Good morning, my dear boys. Welcome to our social science classroom. I hope all of you are safe and doing well. Today we are beginning with our SS2 Chapter 1 Seasons and Time. Now before entering into the chapter, my dear children, you should make sure of some of the geographical terms as well as geographical directions. Okay. Now what you have to do is keep a notebook and your textbook with you. And whenever I am giving some instructions, see that you copy down into your notebook. Now, during this particular time, in the present situation, all of you are having some advantages. That is usually when you are going for regular classes or when the school reopens when you are coming. If you are absent in the class, you may miss some of the classes. But now when the videos are sent or when the recorded videos are sent, you can replay it as many times whenever you want. And if you want some clarification also, you can replay it and see the video once again. Okay. So through this video session, please make sure of some of the geographical terms and geographical directions which you have learned from the lower classes onwards. One more thing, my dear boys, whenever some important points are displayed on the screen, see that you copy down into your notebook, especially the geographical directions, the important latitudes, then again certain important points like apparent movement of the sun, parallelism of the earth's axis. Whatever important points are displayed on the screen, see that you copy down into your notebook. Please don't miss it. Now all of you may be familiar with the directions north, south, west and east. Now when you look at the diagram displayed here, you can see a few more directions, that is the northeast, southeast, southwest and northwest. As I said earlier, children, please copy down this diagram into your notebook. Now between north and east, you can see an arrow mark from the center going upwards, that is northeast. In the same manner, between south and east, again you can see from the center point an arrow mark is going outwards, that is southeast. Always remember the directions, they begin either with north or south. Again you can see northwest, northeast, southeast and southwest. All these directions are beginning either with north or south. Next, the most important geographical terms you come across this chapter are latitudes and longitudes. Now the important latitudes you can see here on the screen, that is the equators there, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle, etc. You have learned in the lower classes. So the important latitudes, you just go through which are the important latitudes and make sure of the degrees also. That is, when you move from the equator to the North Pole or to the South Pole, you can see the important latitudes are Tropic of Capricorn towards 23.5 degrees south, Tropic of Cancer towards 23.5 degree north. Then you can see the Arctic Circle 66.5 degree north and Antarctic Circle with 66.5 degrees south. So these are the important latitudes. So what are latitudes? So you can define latitude as actually the distance from the 0 degree equator to the north or the south, or else you can say that these are actually the parallel circles along the equator towards north or south. Now have a look at the important longitudes. Altogether there are 360 degree longitudes, out of which the 0 degree prime meridian, which is known as the Greenwich meridian, and the 180 degree meridian, these are the important longitudes. You can see the 0 degree Greenwich meridian, it divides the earth into two hemispheres, that is the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere, whereas the equator divides the earth into northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. This is the equator dividing, you can see it here. Children, this much things you should know before entering into this chapter, Seasons and Time. Our first chapter in geography, Seasons and Time, it begins with a brief description on seasonal changes. So first let us go through this paragraph. The wonders of seasonal change exhibited by the nature are varied. Winter is a season where everything is buried in snow. As the winter retreats, the grass and trees slowly turn green. The spring season arrives with leaves and flowers in different hues. Then summer sets in, bidding adieu to the rain of spring. Comes a long rainy season as a relief to the scorching summer, and then follows the autumn. Trees start shedding their leaves within a few weeks in preparation to welcome the forthcoming winter. And the winter returns. Months of severe cold then. Such astonishing visuals that the nature prepares are more pronounced in the mid-latitudes, While it is noon at one place, it is midnight elsewhere. 2 different days, but at the same time on the earth. Just like the wonders of the seasons, the sequence of time is also diverse. I hope all of you were reading along with me. So that was something about the variations in seasons or the seasonal change. Now you just have a look at the screen here. It's the same place during the different seasons. So here the nature is astonishing us with such wonderful changes. Now this chapter, it's divided into 2 major portions. The first part, it is regarding the occurrence of seasons, and the second portion, it is about the change in time at the various longitudes. So the seasonal changes are due to the variations in the distribution of solar energy on the different latitudes as well as different hemispheres. So now let's find out why the distribution of sunlight is not the same on all the latitudes and hemispheres. Now watch this video, boys. It's a demonstration of the 3-dimensional view of the movement of the earth around the sun. Now if you watch carefully, you can see the earth is rotating as well as it is moving around the sun. And again, if you watch, you can see the sunlight is falling on different latitudes and different parts of the earth on different days. And my dear boys, you can also notice that the earth is having a slight tilt or a slanting position while it is rotating, and this tilt you can see it is maintained throughout its revolution, which is known as parallelism of the earth's axis. So that means there are some reasons behind the difference in the distribution of sunlight over the different latitudes and also the different hemispheres. So they are the rotation of the earth, revolution of the earth, inclination of the earth's axis, and also parallelism of the earth's axis. So my dear boys, please note it down. So the reasons behind the difference in the variation of the solar energy, the reasons are due to the rotation of the earth, revolution of the earth, then the inclination of the earth's axis, and finally the parallelism of the earth's axis. So my dear boys, before entering into the next session, make sure that you have copied down the geographical directions into your book, which are the important latitudes and also the reasons behind the seasonal changes. And those are again the same reasons behind the difference in the distribution of sunlight over the different parts of the earth. Okay, only after by hearting these topics, only then we can enter into the next topics. Now let's continue. So we were discussing about the uneven distribution of sunlight over different regions of the earth. This uneven distribution is the same reason behind the seasonal changes. What is meant by uneven? Uneven means it's not the same amount of solar energy received on different parts of the earth. So what were the factors that led to the uneven distribution of solar energy? Yes, rotation of the earth, revolution of the earth, tilt of the earth's axis, and also parallelism of the earth's axis. So these are the same reasons behind the seasonal changes too. Next, let us find out what are the effects of rotation. Now here you can see the earth is spinning on its own axis. And from the lower classes onwards, we are learning that it is an imaginary axis. Now what is meant by an axis? An axis, it is actually the point on which an object rotates. So all of you know, our earth is also having an imaginary axis which passes through the North Pole and South Pole. And our planet is having a slight tilt in its axis. And this tilt, you can see it is maintained throughout the revolution of the earth, which is known as parallelism of the earth's axis. So please by heart, what is parallelism of the earth's axis? It is the tilt of the earth's axis maintained throughout the earth's revolution. Now let's find out how much the earth's axis is tilted. It is tilted for about 23.5 degrees from the vertical axis and 66.5 degrees from the horizontal axis. I'll explain it once more. This is the tilt of the earth's axis. Bhumiyude charivu. Now this is the imaginary axis. Okay, that is the vertical plane. So now let us find out how much it is tilted. Now keep your protractor on the midpoint of the imaginary axis, and from there see it is 23.5 degrees tilted from the imaginary axis or the vertical axis. That is, from the vertical plane or vertical axis, it is tilted for about 23.5 degrees. Next again, if you keep the protractor on the midpoint of the equator, you can see here the inclination or the tilt is for about 66.5 degrees. See, 66.5 degrees tilted from the horizontal axis or the equator. So that is the orbital plane or the horizontal axis. I hope this is clear for you now. 66.5 degrees from the horizontal axis and 23.5 degrees from the vertical axis, that is the imaginary axis. Now let us move on or find out the direction of the Earth's rotation. Always the Earth rotates from west to east. So that is why the eastern parts of the Earth receives the sunlight first. Or that is why we say that the sun rises in the east, or we feel that the sun rises in the east. So that is due to the direction from west to east. Earth's rotation is from west to east. Now let's have a look at the distribution of sunlight over the different latitudes. Now you know the equator, you know which is Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and also the Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle. Now all of you look here, that is the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. These are known as the mid-latitudes. Now according to this picture, let's find out which hemisphere is receiving more sunlight. Of course, you can see it is in the northern hemisphere. It is the northern hemisphere which is receiving more sunlight, or which is facing the sun. So always remember, those regions of the earth which receive more sunlight will be experiencing, or that particular hemisphere will be experiencing summer season, and again the duration of daytime will be also more in the same hemisphere which faces the sun. And look at the Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle. You can see the whole of the Arctic Circle is experiencing daytime, and that is for about 6 months. Then again below you can see the Antarctic Circle. The whole of the Antarctic Circle, it is in darkness. So you can see this is during the different seasons. So you can make out, children, that is the sun's rays are vertically falling between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, which are the mid-latitudes. So this apparent movement of the sun between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, it is known as apparent movement of the sun. Now let's go through the effects of rotation. You can see day and night. It is the result of rotation. You can see the portion of the earth which is facing the sun is receiving the sunlight more, or else you can see daytime occurs where the portion which is facing the sun, and the other portion of the earth you can see it is in darkness, or that is the night. Okay, so day and night you can see the earth's rotation is for about 24 hours. So 12 hours day and 12 hours night. So day and night is caused due to the earth's rotation. Now look at the picture here. You can see the position of the earth during the time of revolution, during the different months. It is shown here well clearly. Now if you keenly observe this picture, you can see the distance between the earth and the sun is not the same always throughout the period of revolution, because the earth is orbiting in an elliptical shape. So there are some days on which the sun and the earth are nearest and farthest. So the day on which the earth is nearest to the sun, it is known as perihelion, that is on January 3rd. And the day on which the earth is far away from the sun, that is the aphelion, that is on July 4th. So 2 days we have. The days on which the sun and the earth are nearest and farthest, those are perihelion and aphelion. Now let's go through some more effects of rotation. You can see due to the rotation of the earth as well as the inclination of the earth's axis, the distribution of sunlight is not the same over the different latitudes. So based upon the distribution of sunlight, you can see the earth is divided into different temperature zones. Here you can see the torrid zone, that is the equatorial region, lying between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, that is 23.5 degree north and 23.5 degree south. And again temperate zone lying between 23.5 degree north and 66.5 degree north, and between 23.5 degree south and 66.5 degree south. That is the temperate zone. And finally, near to the polar zone, you have the frigid zones between 66.5 degree north to 90 degree north, and between 66.5 degrees south to 90 degrees south. Again, let's begin with the effects of revolution. Now let's go through the features of the different seasons. You just watch the changes in the different seasons. See, here comes the winter season. The whole of the environment you can see covered with snow. See the houses there, completely dipped in snow. Then always the winter season, it is followed by the spring season. See, the nature is so happy with blooming of flowers. You can see the green grasses sprouting out. So that's the spring season there. You can see the variety of flowers. So that's the spring season. Again you can see it is followed by the summer season, which is the hottest season of the year. You know that we have the vacation during the summer season, isn't it? It's too hot during the summer season. Then again it's followed by autumn season. We don't experience autumn season here in our country. But you can see there are certain countries where they experience autumn season, where you can see the shedding of leaves. Okay, and finally the cycle again follows. My dear boys, you may be wondering whether we are experiencing all these 4 seasons in our country. Definitely we are not experiencing all these 4 seasons. Now the 4 seasons which we learned, that is spring, summer, autumn and winter. Remember, this is the order because spring is always followed by summer. Summer is always followed by autumn, and autumn is always followed by winter season. So you please by heart this order: spring, summer, autumn and winter. I'll give you a short form abbreviation. You learn it like this: S²AW. SAW. Spring, summer, autumn and winter. Now let us find out why in our country we don't experience some of these climates. That is, we don't experience spring and autumn in India. Why? We can find out the reason. It is like this. With the help of a globe or a map, you first find out under which temperature zone comes our country. You can see that our country comes under the torrid zone, which is in the equatorial region where we are experiencing tropical climate. What is in the tropical climate? That is, we are experiencing hot climate here because it is between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, that is the torrid zone, where usually the sun's rays are vertically falling. That is why we have already learned apparent movement of the sun. Shifting of the sun's rays is between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so this particular region is the torrid zone where our country comes. Okay. So here in the equatorial region or the torrid zone, we don't experience spring and autumn. Spring and autumn season, please by heart like this, that is, it comes under the temperate zone or those regions experiencing moderate climate. Only there you can find spring and autumn season. Now all of us know that the time taken for revolution, it is 1 year, that is 12 months. So 4 seasons and 1 year, that is 12 months. So 12 divided by 4, that is 3 months each you experience each of the seasons. But in our country, instead of spring and autumn, we are experiencing the monsoon season. 3 months we experience southwest monsoon season, and the next 3 months we have the northeast monsoon season. So altogether 6 months we are experiencing the monsoon climate, and then we have summer and winter too. Okay, this is the difference of our climate when compared to other countries. I hope you understood. It is clear for you. Now let's observe how the different seasonal changes occur as a result of the Earth's revolution. Now you can see we have already learned during certain days the shifting of the sun's rays between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Now let's watch how the seasonal changes occur. We can observe it here, that is during the different months, the position of the sun's rays on the different latitudes, and finally the seasonal changes. Now this is the picture given on page number 9 in your textbook. There you can see the picture of the revolution, that is the position of the earth during the different months. And when the explanations are given, please find out where the position of the sun is during the apparent movement. On March 21st, where is the position of the sun? On June 21st, where is the position of the sun? Okay, so along with the explanations, please look at the picture given on page number 9 in your textbook. Now let's begin with March 21st. If you look at the picture, you can see equal amount of sunlight received in the northern hemisphere as well as in the southern hemisphere. So what happens here, you can see the sun is over the equator. So there are two such days, that is on March 21st as well as September 23rd, and for the same reason these 2 days are known as equinoxes. Due to what? Due to the sun's position on the equator as well as due to the equal day and night received over the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Next again, from March 21st onwards, you can see the sun apparently shifts from the equator to the Tropic of Cancer. So on June 21st, you can see the position of the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer, and this day is known as summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. So once again, remember, we have learned a theory here, that is, where you find the sun's rays, there you experience longest day. So here on June 21st, where do you find the sunlight or the sun's position? It is on the Tropic of Cancer. So here it is in the northern hemisphere, you experience longest day and shortest night. So on summer solstice on June 21st, the northern hemisphere experiences longest day and shortest night. Again, all of you take page number 9 and have a look there. Again, from June 21st, you can see the sun's rays are moving towards the equator, that is on September 23rd. So when the sun's position is shifting from the Tropic of Cancer to the equator, summer season is experienced in the northern hemisphere during this period. Soon after spring comes summer season. My dear boys, again look at the same picture. You can see the sun continues its southward apparent shift from the equator to Tropic of Capricorn, that is from September 23rd to December 22nd. So this day is known as winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. Dear children, I'll make it more simple for you. You do one thing, take your notebook and copy down this diagram as per my instructions. You draw a circle now. Then you mark the important latitudes. Here you can see that is the Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north. Arctic Circle. Write down there. That is the Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north. Here we are going through the important dates in the revolution and the position of the sun. Next below, 66.5 degrees south, that is the Antarctic Circle. That also please write down there. The spelling is ARCTIC in Antarctic as well as Arctic. Next, you draw the latitude Tropic of Capricorn, which is 23.5 degree south. Again, Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degree north. Okay. Then again, you are having the equator. 0 degree equator. Now let's see March 21st. From March 21st you begin. You can see the shifting of the position of the sun towards Tropic of Cancer, that is on June 21st. March 21st to June 21st. So the position of the sun is changing towards the Tropic of Cancer. Then again the shifting of the sun from Tropic of Cancer to the equator by the time of September 23rd. Then again you can see the shifting of the sun's position towards Tropic of Capricorn. That is by December 22nd. Okay. So this much now you know. Now the whole cycle continues again. Okay. Again the shifting of the sun from December 22nd to March 21st. While the sun shifts its position from March 21st to June 21st, the season experienced there it is spring season. And spring, as you all know, it is followed by summer. So from June 21st to September 23rd, by that time it is summer. Then again from September to December, that time it is autumn. Again from December to March 21st, it is winter. I have told you before regarding the change in seasons. To learn it in the order spring, summer, autumn and winter. So June 21st, it is known as summer solstice. Solstice means when the position of the sun is either on the mid-latitudes, Tropic of Cancer or Tropic of Capricorn. So June 21st, the position is over the Tropic of Cancer, hence summer solstice. Then March 21st, as the position is on the equator, it is equinox. But as the season is spring, you can see it is vernal equinox. Okay. And again, on September 23rd also it is on the equator. There it is known as autumnal equinox. Because it's a transition period from September to December, you are having autumn. Next we move on to December 22nd. That is also a solstice. That is winter solstice. It is during the winter season. And solstice, as you know earlier, you can see whenever the sun's position is on either of the mid-latitudes, it is known as solstice. My dear children, the diagram which I explained now, please compare it with this particular table given on page number 12 in your textbook. My dear boys, we can end today's class with two more terms in this chapter, that is Uttarayanam and Dakshinayanam. In Malayalam, that is Tropic of Cancer, it is known as Uttarayana Rekha. And Tropic of Capricorn in Malayalam, it is known as Dakshinayana Rekha. So the term Uttarayanam, what is meant by Ayanam? Ayanam ennu paranjal movement neയാണ് Ayanam ennu പറയുന്നത്. So Uttarayanam means moving northwards. That is the northward movement or shifting of the sun's rays from Tropic of Capricorn to Tropic of Cancer. The northward apparent movement of the sun is known as Uttarayanam. Okay. Next is Dakshinayanam. Dakshinayanam means it is actually the southward apparent movement of the sun. Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. You know what is apparent movement? That is the shifting of the sun's position from between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. That is the apparent movement. So the northward apparent movement of the sun is known as Uttarayanam. And the southward apparent movement of the sun, it is known as Dakshinayanam. I hope you understood. So today we will end up with Uttarayanam and Dakshinayanam. And in the next class, we will continue with calculation of time or the change in time. Thank you. My dear boys, I hope this chapter is clear for you. Please don't hesitate to ask any doubt. You are free to ask any doubt. I hope this chapter is clear for you. Again, to explain a small portion which I forgot to mention, there is something regarding the leap year. And here again, to explain a small portion which I forgot to mention, there is something regarding the leap year. I hope all of you know. In the month of February, we have 29 days. That is, you can see in a leap year. So how is that 29 days for February once in every 4 years? So this year in 2029 days for February, once in every 4 years. Again, the next leap year, this year in 2020 we had 29 days in February. How we are calculating the next leap year, it will be in 2024. The time taken for the Earth's revolution. How we are calculating this leap year. The time taken for the Earth to move around the sun. All of you know that is 1 year. That is actually the time taken for the Earth to move around the sun. All of you know that is quarter year. That is quarter day means the time taken 1/4 of a day. So a day is 24 hours. So quarter day divided by 4, that will be 6 of a day. So the time taken for 24 hours. So 24 divided by 4, that will be 6 hours. Plus 6 so the time taken for one revolution, it is 3. So what is happening to the 6 days? Actually for our convenience, we are taking it as 365 days. So what is happening to this 6 hours? Actually, for our convenience, 6 hours we are taking it as computed to 1 extra day after every 4 years. Hours, you can see it is computed to 1 extra day after every 4 years. That is 24 hours, 1 extra day. Every 4 years, 6 days will be there in a leap year. That is 24 hours, 1 usually you can find it, that is the leap years will be the multiples leap year 4. And the leap years usually you can find out whether a particular year is a leap year or not. 4. Okay. 2025 we find out whether you can find it out whether it is a leap year or not by finding out whether 2025 is a multiple of 4. You can find it out whether it is a leap year or not by finding out whether 2025 is a multiple of 4. Movement of the sun. So I hope you understood. Some of you may misunderstand that is apparent movement of the sun means the sun is moving. Never. Some of you may misunderstand that actually the position of the sun is different. Never. Apparent movement is actually the position of the sunlight over the different latitudes. Regarding the first portion of our first chapter of geography, that is regarding the seasons. Regarding so in the next class we will deal with our first chapter of geography, that is regarding the seasons. Time. So in the next class we will longitudes or the meridians, which are known as time zones. Time based upon the longitudes or the meridians, which are known as the first portion, that's regarding seasons. I hope remember, seasons are based upon the first portion, that is regarding seasons, effects of rotation, remember, revolution, seasons, inclination of the Earth's axis, and also parallelism of the Earth's revolution, inclination of the Earth's temperature distribution is different over different parallelism, and hence the latitudes are also known as and the temperature distribution is different over different latitude. We will meet again, and hence the latitudes are also known as the calculation of time based upon the different next class. We will meet again. So today we will discuss about the different temperatures. The calculation of time based upon the different time zones. Thank you so much. So today we will discuss about the different whatever is taught in this class. I hope all of you understood. Make sure that thank you so much. Write down the important points, and I will be sending whatever is taught in this class. The first make sure that you write down the important points, and I will be sending the printed notes of the first portion of this chapter, which I taught today. Thank you.